This is the end. We're almost done.
If this looks familiar, well, it should be, because this is the Honda City. But this is not the Honda City that we know and are familiar with. Right now, this car is running on pure electric power. This is the Honda City e-Hybrid, and it marks Honda's big step towards electric mobility, the in-between stage before they move towards full EVs.
This is the end. This is the end. We're almost done here now.
The City e-Hybrid, it marks Honda's commitment towards electrification. But of course, right now, we don't really have the network that can support full electric vehicles all over the place. So the City e-Hybrid, it actually gives you great fuel economy. It runs most of the time on the electric motor, so it reduces the emissions. And it is that great step before we move towards full electric cars. How does it work? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. And stick around, because this is actually a very complicated but very interesting powertrain.
The Honda City e-Hybrid, in terms of the tech, is actually very interesting. Now, when you start off, if there is juice in the batteries, and invariably there will be juice in the batteries, you start off in pure EV mode. This has got two motors. One is the traction motor and one is the generator. So what the generator does is that the engine is running, supplies power to the generator. That generator converts it into electric energy and stores it in the battery. The second motor is the traction motor. That takes juice from the batteries and sends that to the wheels. So actually, most of the time, the car is running on the motor. It's running on that electric motor. So the engine, while it is running, it is actually supplying power to the batteries, and the batteries are then supplying power to the traction motor, which is supplying power to the wheels. When there is enough juice in the batteries, like it is right now, it is running on pure EV mode. And in the city, most of the time it is running on this pure EV mode. So zero emissions and zero fuel consumption. Also extremely silent. But now when I'm accelerating, you can hear the engine. The engine most often is running at its most optimum RPM band to get the best fuel efficiency. It is running on the Atkinson cycle, not like the regular Honda City i-VTEC. So this on Atkinson cycle and at its most optimum rev band is very fuel efficient, and that's why it gives this extraordinary fuel efficiency. It is the third most fuel efficient car in the country, which is massive. The other cars are small little hatchbacks, whereas this is a proper sedan, and it gives this astonishing fuel efficiency. So now, if you can hear the engine, you can hear the engine going whoa, whoa, like how it would in a normal ICE powertrain. But that is actually all artificial, because that does not really correspond to the turn of speed, because the engine is actually supplying juice to the batteries. So it's not directly related. There is no gearbox here. It's not a conventional gearbox. They call it an eCVT, but it's not like there is a CVT gearbox that is actually, hey, come on. Now that is the adaptive ADAS systems, which are going bing bong bing bong. In terms of max output, you get 124 bhp. That's around 5 bhp more than the City i-VTEC. So it is slightly more powerful, but it is also around 120 kilos heavier than the regular Honda City. So in terms of the acceleration times, Honda claims a flat 0 to 100 kilometers per hour acceleration time of 10 seconds, which is around 0.5 seconds faster than the regular Honda City. So it is a little bit quicker, but marginally, not that much. In terms of the handling, well, it's the same as the regular Honda City. It's got the same 16-inch tires with the same width. So overall, the feel, the way it goes around corners is more or less the same. It is a sharp handling car, good front end bite, and actually very responsive and eager. It's got electric power steering, of course. So going up the corners here at the Nandi Hills, it's an eager car. Not the sharpest tool in the box, but it's eager enough. And it's not like you can stick it in manual mode and then you can hold on to the gears. So that's one thing that you notice on the e-hybrid, that you're constantly cutting in and out of the engine. And it does feel at times a bit labored. Technically it's not, because it's just that the engine is supplying power to the batteries. But you think that the car is laboring up these corners. And all these rise and fall in revs, it is all being done artificially to give the driver the sense that the powertrain is working. But it's not directly related to what's happening in terms of the speed and the build-up of speed. It's cool as well as a bit strange. Now I do have to point out that in terms of the responsiveness, so I'm doing around 60 now, floor it, and it takes a bit of time for everything to come alive. So it's not that quick, sharp responsiveness that you come to associate with the Honda powertrain, because everything has to wake up and only then you get that full motive force. Using the paddles out here, that's how you can adjust the level of regeneration. So like in an electric car, we talk about that one pedal driving. You sort of get that on the city hybrid. So going downhill, I'm not braking, but it is slowing down. So before the corner, you just get off the gas, and it is now recuperating energy. So it is supplying all this energy back into the batteries. So it's got actually pretty strong regeneration. And of course, when you touch the brakes, it is also regenerating energy. So now going downhill, I'm on pure EV mode because there's enough juice in the batteries, and also I need the regeneration. So every time I brake, there's more juice going back into the batteries. So pure EV mode. If you have a slight mechanical bent of mind, this is such a geeky, interesting car. Such a cool Japanese car. And then you have this graphic out here, which is showing, so it started off at the top, it started off with 3 bars on the battery. Now it has gone up to 8 bars. So basically going downhill, I'm just charging up the batteries. So you come up full power and you go down, juice up the batteries. Damn interesting.
The City eHybrid, it is a super interesting car. Okay, it doesn't give you that much more in terms of the performance. It is as fast as the regular City. But the way the powertrain works, it is really, really interesting. It is, of course, going to be expensive. We are between 5 to 6 lakh rupees more than the regular City. So slightly expensive proposition. But at this price range, you don't get any hybrids. In fact, this is the first proper hybrid at this price point, and it marks the start of that propagation of hybrid vehicles. You will see a lot of hybrid vehicles very, very soon, and the City is going to be one of those markers, one of those first cars that offers proper hybrid technology which reduces emissions, improves massively upon fuel economy, and of course it marks that in-between step before we move towards full electrification.